Hello, hi everybody. Dee in the car. I'm just on here to say, about many things that's been happening while I've been offline and been doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and then had a nice little break holiday for myself. And while I was away, I had an interview with this wonderful lady in North Wales. And this lady told me a horrendous story about not being jabbed with the experimental trial. And what she has been put through because of her choice to keep herself safe by not taking part in the experiment, what they called a COVID-19 vaccine, which we all know never was a vaccine, and there's no COVID virus ever being isolated. Now that we have the proof of from many institutions. We have it from the HSA, the NHS, we have it from Canada, we have it from many medical institutions that it was never isolated, and they can't give any, under no circumstances is there anything being found that they could give us in writing. Now we have that since 2021, end of 21, and there's no way on this planet can they give it to anybody. I mean, since we got it here in Ireland, I think it was early 21 or mid 21, I forget exactly when we got it, and they even stated then there is no evidence of any virus ever being isolated. We went through every avenue to find it. And there's a man named Gabriel Martin, and he's a very intelligent man. And this man knew exactly how to go and demand, under the Freedom of Information Act 2014, how to get these, and when they refused them, how to threaten them with courts if they don't release them. And they said they can't release what they haven't got. So they put on the end of the cover themselves. There's no evidence anywhere that they could provide us with. So that's meaning that there was no virus ever isolated that they called the big pandemic with, as we all know now, was a pandemic and a cognizance test of the people to see who would comply. And now they're going to again, I don't know what's happening, and now they're going to again try to see who's going to comply with this digital ID. And of course, you know, with the Irish, they're going to comply. They only have to put a little bit of fear into them. Yeah, they only have to make them panic that they're going to suffer in some way if they don't. The pocket is going to, especially with the Irish, you've seen the water marches, when it's going to hit that pocket, oh by God, they come out in their millions. But regard to their health, you couldn't get them outside the door. They believed every lie they were told. And they know now that they were lied to. And they know now that in 2020 at the GPO, the only people that was out there warning them of the dangers that they classed as conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hats, you name it. I wore that tinfoil hat with pride because I knew they were going to come to me and say you are right. And I've just had one man say to me now where I'm at the bin, I just brushed you off. But now everything you said to me, everything you said, his wife listened to me, and other people belonging to him listened to me, other members of his family, but he didn't. He ended up on a ventilator. He was one of the very lucky ones that came off it, because anyone that went on them didn't. They came off all right, but they went straight into a body bag. And someone close to me, the exact same. So, this lady, her story pulled at my heartstrings. And I said, I have to go and interview her. It's only a very small interview, because I wanted it sharp and right to the point. And by God it is. I haven't released it yet because I want to make sure she's kept safe and our job is kept safe and whatever. So I just have to get my good friend Paul to distort the voice and that in it. Even though her face is not on it, I still want him to distort the voice, like what I did with the whistleblower nurse here in Ireland. Like that nurse that blew the lid off of the Dundalk Hospital. on what they were doing to the elderly people, and the morphine midazolam and putting them on ventilators. That blew the lid off things back then. And they looked at every way that they could bring charges, but they couldn't, because everything I said and everything the woman said on it was absolute truth, and they didn't want anyone going in and digging into their files. So all mayhem broke out when the video was released. If you just want to see that, I'm sure you'll still get into overdwall.com, even though they got it down, some of the videos are still there, and it's the whistleblower nurse, if any of you want to go on and see it. And that woman put her own life at risk, her job at risk, her mortgage at risk, everything, to blow the whistle on what they were doing to the patients in that hospital. Now, this is why I pulled at my heartstrings, and I said I will travel to North Wales to talk to this woman. Talk to her for hours, but I only done 10 minutes of the interview with her, because I wanted it, like I said, short, sharp, sweet, and right to the point. And she talks about a procedure she had to go in and have, and it was serious enough that she would go ahead with it. She refused at first when she went in to have the procedure, and she only wanted to go under local anaesthetic because she didn't want them pumping anything into her. She signed forms: do not give me any COVID vaccines. That is called COVID vaccines. She's wide awake to what was in them. She's wide awake to the graphene oxide, the spike protein. She's wide awake to everything that was in them. And she's a Catholic also, and aborted fetus cells and that in it. There's no way they were pumping that into her under no circumstances. But more to the point of the graphene oxide and the other mRNAs, that she knew. She'd done her research, and fair play to her. There wasn't very many that done it. They just listened and fell to the fear that was being drummed out by RTE and all the radio stations here in Ireland, and they did falter to the fear, and I feel sorry for her. But anyone that didn't falter to the fear, I take my hat off to you. And this woman needed to go ahead with this procedure because there was a fear of something very serious being wrong with the lower part, as you know, in a woman's body, where you can get the big C and so on and so forth. So she needed this procedure to be done. And they said a certain thing could happen, and if you bled, like, we'd have to give you blood, and they wanted her to sign this thing. And she said, oh no, not vaccinated blood. So when it was explained to her by one of the nurses that the vaccinated blood could be the mixture of blood of 10 people that was vaccinated, and she said, under no circumstances are you pumping that into me. If anything happened to me, you do not put vaccinated blood in me. But I won't tell you any more what happened, what she was forced to do to get her procedure done. And it's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous, the decision she had to make if she wanted the procedure done, because they were not giving her a choice of whether she gets vaccinated blood or not. With 10 people, she risked her job and not being able to pay her mortgage. She said she'd rather lose her house than lose her life. She would rather lose her and stay here for her children. She said she'd rather live in a little mobile van that they have, mobile that they have on one of the promenades. Or she said she'd rather live in that than risk her life and her children being left without her. But what they forced her to do is absolutely horrendous if she wanted to get the procedure done, to go ahead with the procedure. And that video will be getting uploaded sometime this week, I hope. Because I want to wait and get the Vice to start it first, because she does have a job. And I don't want to be the cause of her losing her job, because, like I said, she's a mortgage to pay and she's young children. And they're not very young like that, like in secondary and in one in college or something like that. And she still has to keep a roof over their heads. So I do want to start a Vice. She said she didn't care if I didn't start a Vice because her face wasn't on it. But I think for to secure her, I'd feel more comfortable to start a Vice. So my friend Paul is the one that does that for me. So when he does that, as soon as he's available to do that, I will release the video. But what's happening here on our own turf Around Land of Eire, as we all know now, the word Eire means soil. And our land, before it was changed by the English that invaded our land and took every bit of food out of it and then called it a famine. I've only come to all this lately through my friend Sandra Giltrap, who educates me on things like this. Our land was called Hibernia before they changed it to the English word Ireland. So what's been happening here? We've got Michael Martin now doing a starmer on our land. How is he doing a starmer? And he used Paul Nolan to be his scapegoat. That's right. Now, did anyone else hear of these so-called new laws that if you do an interview and you ask somebody where they come from and they tell you where they come from, that you're entitled to a prison sentence? You're going to get a prison sentence. They used Paul Nolan as a scapegoat. That's exactly what they did. And this whole country needs to get behind this man on his appeal. Now, as far as I know, Paul is out. He's a good lad. He does what most men haven't got the balls to get up and do, is get out and expose what this gang in Gangster House is doing to our beautiful Land of Eire. Or Hibernia, if you want to call it that. They're using him as a scapegoat, like they did with me when I was warning people of the dangers back in 2020. When all the voices that's out there now giving their input about what they knew back then, about the dangers. Now, I had good people behind me, tutoring me on the dangers. And I was the mouthpiece going out there and putting it out into the public. These people had to protect their doctor's licence that they've worked very hard. One was a veteran doctor, as you know, Amy Kluski, Dr. Feely, Dr. Vincent Brown. These people were out there speaking later on in 21, but in 2020, the people behind the scenes, like Dr. Feely was out very early, and people weren't listening. They were listening to RTE, and they were listening to Netflix, and all the radio shows that was getting paid massive monies to keep the fear going. And the fear worked massively, especially on the elderly that didn't have social media to put them wide. But their evidence to me that then came out of my mouth saved a lot of lives, and I've nothing but admiration for those people. Now, Amy Kluski ended up losing her licence. She's fighting very hard. She's one hell of a woman that came out. She was one of the first, as in putting her licence at risk. She came back out of retirement to help until she seen for herself it was all lies. So what this woman has done in the interview is also very brave. Even though, like, we're nearly 6 years later, 5.5 years later, I'm still getting dragged to court for trying to save lives out there, for being speaking out. Yeah, I'm still getting dragged through court. I've one more case to go out of 14. Now, a certain man in Store Street, if he wasn't the prosecutor, he was a witness against me. Yeah, I got found guilty on most of them, but on appeal, I won them. I want to tell you something, people. Like what happened with Paul Nolan, did they play his own video against him and get him found guilty? And that's what they've done with a lot of young people that don't understand that these cannot take your video unless it's authenticated and play it against you. They can't. You need to start looking into your rights because of what they're doing and what's on the way down the road for you. Because are they going to try another lockdown? I can smell it. I can smell it. Like the way you smell it, dirty nappy, I can smell it coming. Know your rights. Get up there and learn. And get off your lazy arses and learn your fucking rights. And stop waiting on other people to come and do it for you. Because Because these solicitors are not for you. Believe me. They're not for you. They're all the exact same cheek of the one arse. The whole lot of them barristers, solicitors, and I don't care how much these solicitors cost you. I don't care where you get them from. I mean, one of them, I went out of Ireland to get it, out of the jurisdiction to get one. And it still turned out to be friends of the ones in the court that we ended up in. I'm not going to bring that one back up because there's something getting done about it. So I have to keep stum on that one for the moment. But there's a lot of paperwork got to be lodged in court, and a lot more going to be lodged in. And for Patrick Real and the work he's doing, absolutely brilliant. Fair play to him. The man doesn't get paid from anybody. He does it all off his own back to help the people of this country. If you want advice, listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. Melissa Kelly is another woman that knows what she's talking about. She does her research. She doesn't just pull it out of a hat. What you need to do, people, is get up and start learning your rights. Because what's coming down this road doesn't look good. Because the people are not getting up and standing up to these gangsters in Gangster House. He brought his law in that you can't ask people and identify online someone that come from another country. Why did he do that? You see, Michael knows that he's lost the Irish people. They knew that in the 2019 election. Everybody says the 2020 election. You see, it didn't get activated until 2020 because none of them got enough votes to take leadership. That's why they had to do the three stooges. I stepped out and you stepped in again. That's why Michael Martin, Leo Varadkar and Sleepyhead Ryan, that's why they had to do the three stooges. Because none of them got enough. Well, the Greens definitely didn't. They had 8 seats. And Michael Martin and Leo Varadkar needed them 8 seats to bring him with them. That's why he was promised all the bike lanes. His family, if you look them up, the biggest bike company in the world. Follow the money. Follow the money. But let's put it this way. If the people don't stand up and do a massive non-compliance to this digital ID, all the fighting in the world, all the marches in the world, all the protests in the world is going to do no good. I watch you all at the supermarkets. A job you're not even getting paid to do. You're going over and doing is saving yourself in the self-service. And the people in them supermarkets are losing their jobs. That's all part of bringing in this digital ID. Because they're going to be the gates now that you have to swipe yourself in and swipe for every article you buy, every item you buy. You attempt to speak out about the corrupt government. You won't be able to buy any of it. You're causing your own demise by complying. Stop using these self-service things. Get on a queue. Do what I do and go to the manager and ask them to open up another till. People I was with over in Wales, that's what they did. They went to the manager. Can you come out here, please? Come out here, please, and open up a till. And that self-service is empty. I don't get paid here to do service. I don't get paid here to do that. I'm not employed here. And they opened up a till. Just like they did in the Tesco's up the road when I asked it. They opened up a till. Especially come Christmas. You go after the till to be opened up. You tell them you're not not employed by them to do service on the tills. You're complying with them and you're causing your own demise. And if you're older like me, you're causing the demise of your children's future. That's exactly what you're doing. Just for the sake of getting in the queue for a few minutes. Go down and demand another till to be open. That's all you have to do. Grow a pair. The destruction of this country is deliberate. There's other countries now, like was it Slovakia, that's at the going in and finding some law that was hidden away, some ancient law, and they're using that now to put their own people in their own country first. And they're going to go by their own country's laws instead of the EU. And the migration is stopping. When I say migration, I mean illegal economic migrants entering their country and causing havoc in it. But Ireland won't do that. To me, Ireland is all about money laundering. There's lots of things you can go back and look at, people. Look at the Ukraine war. From the very beginning, I said it to you. Yeah, there was a war there from 2014. Why did they not get interested in it then? That was all the hype, was the Ukraine war, until people start exposing the theatrics, the green screens. Oh, a lot of it was green screens, until army men copped on. They couldn't have them lollies now. That's taken from a movie. And they copped on. A lot of it was theatrics. And a lot of it is theatrics now in Palestine. A lot of it is theatrics. I mean, what I was looking at last week, what people were sending me, I had time to sit down and relax, and I'm looking at it. The little, about 4 or 5 year old boy getting handed a big drum to get watered, and tears made to be look on his face with white stains down his face, getting water. And then the cameraman comes into view and takes the bottle of water off him and gives it to another child. Brings the bottle of water back up and gets another child to go up and do it, and the camera is recording him doing it. It's all theatrics. It's all theatrics. Stop falling for people. Since when did the Irish come so naive? It's unbelievable how naive they've become. I know there's a lot of indoctrinating in the schools. And now Helen McEntee just passing porn to be in the curriculum in the schools for young kids. There's no mothers up there. There's no mothers going into them school and confronting them. Why? Why? The Irish need to get back up and get out and grow a pair. That's exactly what they need to do. I've no young children in school, so I ain't going to do it for them. Like Andy Haseman, he got out there to them schools, he got out there to them centres, he got out there to them libraries. And what did he get for it? Ridiculed. Ridiculed. After the 3 months prison stint of being abused in solitary for 3 solid months, he gets out and takes a break for himself and he gets ridiculed. Didn't get backed by the people of this country. He was trying to save their children. When you look at things like that, it's absolutely sickening. There's Paul Nolan now. Even though I think he's out on bail, but he still could be facing. And there's Ross Lahave. He still could be facing 3 months in prison. 5 months, I think it is. 2 months was knocked off of Paul's one. But they're going to be sitting in prison for being out there exposing the rot to save your children's future. And you couldn't be even bothered to get on the queue and use it till. Over and out for the moment. See?